whenever you have time, you get Art Matters from Neil Gaiman and Chris Riddle. I really like this book. He says, if someone is criticizing your work, just listen to him. But if this person is telling you exactly how to do it, how to get over your failure, don't listen to it.
Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for accepting this invitation. It was an honor for us. It's amazing to talk to someone that has so much experience and have published books and working commercials. You started working with 15 years old, right?
Yes, that's right. I started out in theater, actually because I grew up in a quite small town. So, movies were not that big business in Austria. And if you did movies, then you have to go to Vienna.
Why this passion? You always liked movies since you were a kid?
I loved stories since I was a small kid. I started out, like many people here in Europe, with the Brother Grimm.
Okay, yeah.
And so actually it started out with fairy tales. And for me as a kid, there was always, a certain truth in the fairy tales I could learn from. And I also got pretty fast attached to the characters. I also reheard a lot of stories. So
how was the beginning of your professional life? Because everyone knows I live in LA. It's not easy to land your first job.
Actually, I was pretty lucky because one of my directing professors asked me if I want to be her assistant director in the second year of school. And it was a corporate film for the German Post. So it's like the German UPS or FedEx. So it was quite a big production already involving CGI things and shooting in green box and blue box. So that was interesting for me because usually if you're going to, or at this time when I started out, and when you worked at feature film, you didn't have a green box, you didn't have a blue box, you did a lot of shootings right away without a lot of special effects, and that was different in commercials. Mm-hmm. So I was also eager on doing commercials because I wanted to learn more about different techniques, about color grading and all the things.
I had the opportunity to see your reel, also take a look in your books. Super interesting books. I love mythology. One of the reasons that I wanted to interview you because your projects are really, I think, very appropriate for this moment because people are searching for a reason for why we're going through all this. So I'd like to know, how did you find the inspiration to write?
For me, mythology was the possibility to travel the world. Because, there was something like Chinese ghost story, and then there was English mythology. So it was, like opening up, from Narnia, the closet. And I traveled all around the world and found really interesting characters. And when I read more, saw more, heard more stories, I found out that all the stories all around the globe, you can break them down to common denominators. So that means mythology offers us basic patterns, and is, for me, mythology is a kind of guide tool to balance our inside world with the outside world. And they are mirroring a common truth for all of us. Because actually, we all have the same questions in our head. Of course, the symbolism is different, but as I said, the basic patterns are really the same.
Talking about genre, you said your favorite is fantasy?
Yes, it's fantasy, but it's also mystery, and it's also adventure. So it's
What
always
were your favorite movies?
the constant rewatch from childhood till now. It would really be like Indiana Jones, and it would be Big Trouble in Little China, or it would be The Addams Family. I love The Addams Family. And
Yeah, I think I watched a million times that movie. You know, one movie you told me, and I really, really enjoy when I can't believe my husband never seen this movie. Elvira.
okay, I love it.
Elvira, yeah.
Yeah, I remembered when we, when I was small, there were no DVDs or anything, so we always went to the video store and I picked this
Yeah.
video. And I think the whole afternoon I watched this movie, and then I rewatched it and rewatched it and
Yeah,
rewatched
you
it.
can rewatch it forever.
Yeah.
So knowing what you know right now, what would you tell yourself when you begin your career?
I had a chat on this a few days ago because I was struggling. Actually, I was struggling on this issue, but you have to stay true to yourself. If you're not putting yourself into your work, you are not reaching the audience or the readers or whomever, because you're not touching their emotions. And that's one of the most important aspects from my work. I want to touch people. I want them to laugh, to cry, to feel something, not just to watch the movie and say, yeah, that's an interesting topic, or wow, such a clever plot twist. I just want to get them into the cinema. I want to get them into the story, and I want to feel them.
So now I wanna talk about Kitty Kathstone, because you published in 2015 the first book. Tell us a little bit about Kitty Kathstone, because I know it's your baby.
And it's not a single child.
Yeah.
For me, the most important thing is, or what I found out during writing and developing the plot, is that everything is about balance. So it's for the main character to restore balance. It's for other characters to get balance into the gender matters, into the matter of individual needs versus collective needs. And for example, you also have an elf, and his tribe is bound very strong to the collective needs, and he's struggling with balancing his individual needs with the collective needs. You also have those gender issues because, for example, for the dragon society, you have the first female dragon being a guardian, also all others before were male. But you have the other part around with one of the main characters. It's Alexander Gorgon. So his mother is actually Medusa, and he's ashamed to his family because he was the first male-born Gorgon, because all Gorgons are female. Mm-hmm. So there is also the issue of imbalance in the mother-son relationship. It just came up naturally, and I think maybe has to do something with archetypes, because if you're writing, the kind of intern programming or the software all of us have, and when these types came up, it obviously was also a matter of balance, or to get them balanced again.
The book I already recommend.
Yeah.
You have the intention to translate to other language?
Yes, if I find a publisher who will translate it into English, of course. We also did an audiobook with the German voice of Harrison Ford. It's the German voice, the synchro speaker. He's doing the synchronization.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but this was a big deal here because, normally very well-established people, they wouldn't do projects.
He's a big deal.
Yeah, he's a big deal.
I believe in synchronicity. So if this happened and it's related to your childhood, there is no way that this project is going to be a success. So do you have any intention to pitch this project right now in US?
Yes. I want to pitch the project, and I'm reaching out for people in the States and in the UK.
There is an event that happens annually. I'm sure you know, the American Film Market. It's a really good place to meet people and to pitch projects. Come and stay here in my house.
That's very nice. So we will shoot it in your house anyway.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna have someone. UK right now, it's a huge market. I've seen so many shows, so many movies on Netflix, Amazon, Hulu, from UK.
Yeah, I think because they went for original content to keep up with the producing of content. But I think the good thing is with the streaming platforms, the market may open up, because sometimes it was even hard to watch movies from other countries because they weren't available. The Austrian market, the Spanish market, the French market. That's the thing with mythology. I think we all have a super interesting story to tell for all people on the globe.
I just wanted you to talk a little bit about your company. So if people want to see your projects beside Kitty Kathstone.
When I started out with directing, really being not an assistant director, but with directing, there were actually 5 women in Austria who were directors. I was the last one who came into the circle, and I was also the youngest one. And, it's, as I said, it's a small country, so there are not like 100 production houses. There were and when I went to the other production houses, they said, yeah, maybe just stay assistant director. And I wasn't willing anymore or any longer to wait for this permission to be a director. So I said, okay, I just have 2 producers. I still cooperated with them also when I had my own company. I worked for international clients, but also for domestic clients. You do a lot of different stuff. You do low budget stuff. You do a bigger budget stuff. The most important thing is with every project, I can do something new. So you asked about the Bentleys and the Book of Isis quite a while ago.
Please.
The book should be published this autumn, as you said. It's also, again, with mythology. It's dealing with the balance between gods, faith, and humans. And what I did with this book, I didn't think about it when I wrote it. I sent it out to some agents, and they all said, yes, the book is great, but you cannot do a book with family content. So I said, no, I don't think so. I think it's funny. Then I came to a young German publishing house. They're the book bakers, so the bake books. And they said, you know what, we like the approach. And so it's going to be the first book at the German market, which really represents family content. So it's thought really to sit down with your daughter, with your son, with your husband, and with your wife, and to read the book together.
So if you can leave a message to our audience.
Never forget, every project you start, it will be another project, and it will be kind of another first project. There will be issues which drive you mad, and there will be issues which make you happy. And I think, as I said before, the most important thing is to be persistent. I struggle often on that, or I request it, and I think that's normal. So if you're going like, why doesn't it work? Or why don't they take my show? Or why don't they take my script? Just keep on working. I read it so often, and I often think, yeah, right, just keep on working. I mean, if you're reading this and if you're feeling down, it's like you don't want to hear it. But really stick to it. Be true, and if you really love it, you cannot let it go anyway.
But thank you so much, Sandra. Thank you for your time. Thank you for sharing everything with us. It was a pleasure. I really, really hope to meet you in person. I want to see all your projects in the television soon. I hope you're here for the American film market.
I hope too. Let's see how the travel restrictions are, where they're heading. And also, thank you very much for inviting me, and it was my pleasure to meet you. So, and I hope we stay in contact. It would be really nice.
We will. Thank you. Bye, Sandra.
Bye.